Hi everyone, Mamie Carson here with OneJoyousGift.com. Thanks for stopping by my channel. And today I'm using this cute Paper Smooches Sugar Rush stamp set. I've had it forever and I love this stamp set. And today I'm going to be doing some fun watercoloring with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. And I'm using some watercolor paper here to start with. And I'm just drawing a little line across the base here so that I can create a little area to stand all of my cookies and ice cream and cupcakes and all that on like a little tabletop setting. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of masking as well. And so I created all of my masks beforehand and I used the Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo masking paper. And in order to create masks, as I've told you guys before, you stamp the image on some masking paper, and then you cut it out and you just place it right on top of your image after you have stamped it, and that way you can stamp over it to have the images show up behind the image that you stamped. And so make sure that you stamp the things that you want in the foreground first, then mask those items and stamp again on top of those with the image that you would like in the background. And so it's easier to show than to explain. So that's why I leave a lot of the masking in, because it really does create a really fun effect at the end. But it is much easier just to watch how to do it rather than to explain it. So I did leave that in again because I know masking takes a little while for people to really get the hang of it. I guess our minds just don't really want to work that way. We think, whenever we're stamping, we're trying to stamp something in front and we think we should be able to stamp that last, and it doesn't work that way. So masking, you have to kind of work in reverse. So I just have all of these little images that I'm putting right across the front of the scene here. And I've got like a popsicle and a little wrapped candy, some ice cream, cupcake, a lemonade, and candy corn over on the left. And then I'm going to have a cake pop on there too. And the stamp set comes with a celebrate sentiment that I'm going to be using on the card today. And I left this card very simple with the watercoloring because I think the effect is still really fun with the loose watercoloring, and it still looks really pretty and polished and finished off nicely. Without having to do extreme amounts of shading. You can just use easy loose watercoloring and get a fun effect that makes the card still look beautiful in the end. And so I wanted to show you guys how I do my loose watercoloring on this card so that you can appreciate how to do that as well and try it on one of your cards. And I'm going over everything with a little bit of clear embossing powder, and that is just so I can get the ink to dry faster, because this ink is VersaFine Onyx Black ink. It takes a little bit longer for it to dry, and so if you sprinkle some of that embossing powder over the top and then heat set it, it will dry immediately, and so you can go ahead and go in and start painting. And also it creates little wells so that the paint doesn't escape the image. So if you can see like my table being bumped a few times and that little iPad that came up in the screen, my little boy is sitting across from me and he's doing some artwork of his own, and so his little legs just can't stay still, and so he's kicked my table several times. So if you see it moving around a lot, that is why. So now I've pulled out my Zig markers and I'm going to start going in and painting after I erase this line that I had created so that I could have all of the images level across the little tabletop. So I'm just erasing that line, and I'm going to jump right into my watercoloring. And I'm only using one color for each image, and that's really all I need. And I'm barely even using one color. I'm just kind of scribbling across the image and then taking my water brush and moving that color around. So I am putting the color of the marker in kind of the area that I want to be the darkest, and then just pulling that out over into the white space, and then evening it out just a little bit, not very much at all. And see, as you can see there, my little boy kicked the table. So I've created a little strawberry ice cream there, my favorite kind of ice cream. And now I'm moving over to this lemonade, And as you can see, I just take that water brush and pull that color up. Very, very fast and simple. I'm using a red over here on my cake pop. I guess this is a cake pop. I'm not really sure what else it could be, so I imagine that it's a cake pop. And now I'm moving over to my little cupcake. And I just put a little bit of that color right underneath the icing to where there would be a little bit of shading under there, and then just pulling it down the rest of the way with my water brush. And now I'm coloring in the icing on my donut. And this loose watercoloring is so much fun, just to kind of not have to be perfect and just to sit down and color, make a cute card, and not be too stressed about it, and not have to think too much about where all your shading goes and where your highlights need to go, you know, just to sit and color. It's really nice, a nice change. And the cardstock that I'm using here is the watercolor cardstock that I'm using is the Strathmore 400 series watercolor cardstock, and it's really, really great. And I'm making that just a little chocolate donut. And now I'm using this kind of turquoisey type color. And my little one has kicked the table one too many times, so I did have to get onto him just a little bit so that you guys wouldn't get sick from all the moving around. And I'm coloring in the little candy corn here. And as always, I will have the supplies I've used listed below the video in the description box. And I have been remembering to let you guys know how to find the description box, because there are so many people that are new to YouTube and not used to managing their way through all the tools that there are in YouTube. And so if you look below the video, first of all, if you're not watching this in YouTube, you may not be able to see the information at all. So if you're watching it on social media, the best thing to do is to open it up in YouTube itself, because that way you can see all the information below the video. And when you are in YouTube and you are looking under the video, you'll see the title to each video that you're watching, and then over to the right there will be an arrow that is a drop down box. You click that arrow and it opens up the description box down below, and in the description box YouTubers will put information about the video itself. They will also put other links to their social media and other places where you can find them, their blogs and things like that. And then underneath that we'll have the supplies list. Now, not everyone adds a supplies list, but most people do. And those links you can click directly on, and it will take you to the stores that sell the products that we feature in these videos. And so I always try to find the best price. Because I have several affiliates, I try to find the best price and put those in the description for you to find the products that I'm using. So like I said, if you're new to YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my channel and like my videos. That really helps me and other YouTubers out a lot. And so now I'm just finishing up the coloring here. And I'm going to be creating a little bit of a shadow area underneath all of the items. That helps ground the items and makes them look like they're actually sitting on top of something. So I just go under the items, the images, with a bit of the gray right underneath them. And then I'm going to pull all that out with my water brush, kind of gliding across underneath the images and then pulling it down a little bit too. Now I'm taking my Spectrum Noir clear glitter brush pen, and this just adds a bit of glimmer and glitter to all of the items that you put it on top of. And I think that Mine was wet, but the glitter wasn't really coming out, so I think I didn't shake it up enough. I have to kind of get used to these. I usually use Wink of Stella, but now I got 3 tubes of this kind, so I'm using the Spectrum Noir glitter brush, and I think I need to make sure that I'm shaking them really well so that I can get all that glitter goodness all over it. And so now I'm taking the die that I cut out the panel with, and I'm going to put it across the top, and that will help me create a smaller panel, but still remain the stitching across the top. So that's just a little trick that you can do in order to keep the stitching that looks really pretty around the outside, and still be able to reduce the size or change the size, change the shape of the panel. And now I've got my Lawn Fawn rainbow 6x6 paper pad here, and I'm trying to find which angle I like the best, and so I go with this real rainbowy color, and this paper works fantastic for the images that I stamped here. And so I just die cut those out with another stitched rectangle die, and now I'm going to put a card on top of my card base. I'm going to put some hot pinkish type color paper on there as well. I don't usually link this paper that I use because most of the time, if it's not like you know, front and center, like a really important part of the card, I usually just use my paper that I pick up from Michael's for these this matting. And now I'm putting across the watercolored piece right in the middle there. And voila, you have this cute little, could be a birthday card. It could be really for anything, but I think I'll probably use it for a birthday card. And to finish up the card, I'm going to use something I haven't pulled out in a little while, and those are my Sparkling Clear Sequins by Pretty Pink Posh that I love. And I'm using my Pico Embellisher here to add a little bit of adhesive down, and so I can put the sequins on top. And I think it added a really nice little sparkly touch to the card as well. And yeah, that's basically the card for today. I appreciate you guys stopping by and liking and subscribing. And don't forget to comment on this video. And I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay till the end so you can see the still shot of the card as well.